Hey, Russ, what are you most proud of individually and as a group after that Game 7 win?
As a group, I think we did a good job of being resilient. This was going to be a tough series, as we knew, and I thought we did a good job of just sticking together, being solid, never wavering. I think that's shows kind of where we are, especially with the changes that's happened for us towards the end of the year, the ups and downs, injuries and different things of that nature. We did a good job of kind of sticking together.
Russ, Christian just gave you a lot of credit for giving him information when it comes to guarding James Harden. So I guess how much do you enjoy kind of having that perspective and being able to share it? And what do you think of the job Christian did over the course of the series?
Yeah, man, James is a tough cover. He's one of the best one-on-one players to play the game. You got to be able to take some things away, and I thought Christian did a good job of just, wearing on him, finding ways to try to make the game difficult for him, and I thought he did an excellent job, and he's been doing that all year. So,
Russ, because the intensity that you bring night in and night out, it seems that every fan base has a special relationship with you. How much do you cherish the relationship in game when you're able to have the moments with those fans?
It's a blessing, man. I think I mentioned this before. Like I'm truly grateful to be able to do that and to do that. This game has done so much for me. I think God put me in this position to be able to be on this platform to go out and compete at a high level and give this game and as much as I can, and hopefully it inspire other people and fans across the world globally. And I'm always grateful to be able to do that.
Russ, after Game 1, you had a great game in Game 1. We said it looked like the Clippers were sort of daring you to beat them with how much room they would give you on your outside shots, and you said, we'll talk about that after we get the job done and we win. So you got the job done and you won. Would you like to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, we can talk about it. What you want to talk about?
Did you take that as a personal challenge, or did you take any offense to the way they defended you?
No offense. I think they believe that was their best bet of stopping me or taking me out of the series. But one thing that nobody knows and that I work my ass off. So regardless of what anybody do, I'm always prepared, and I will be prepared for anything because I prepare myself for everything. And like I said, after Game 1, if they continue doing that, I'm going to make them pay. And I don't know what I shot for the series, but somebody has told me. How much? Damn, that's solid. I guess, it didn't work out so well for them.
Russ, you just played with a lot of fire, tonight. Yeah. Considering the history, with that franchise and that city, did it mean a little extra just to be able to close them out the way that you did tonight?
When closeout games are very difficult in this league, and being a part of Game 7s is difficult, but I do think my job for this team is to bring my energy, bring my competitive spirit, nature, whatever that may be. And I think I told y'all this after Game 1. And excuse my language for my kids at home, but to go in and fuck shit up. And that's what I did.
Russ, the game that you missed, the starters played really heavy minutes. Just how important was it for you coming back to be able to alleviate some of the pressure off them and provide quality minutes?
It was very important, man. It's tough missing games, especially in the playoffs when just freak things happen. But I worked my butt off and thankful for my team of kind of helping me kind of get back to that and be able to get back on the floor. But being able to get back out there with them is big for us and being a lift and take some of the load off of the guys on our team. So.
Russ, you obviously mean a lot to the OKC Thunder organization, and you've played against them before, but what is it like to be able to go back to where your career got started and face a team that you have a lot of history with?
Honestly, first, I don't know. Always got, like I told you, that's like home for me. I always got love for everybody there, the people, the fans, and I know it's mutual. But they also know the reason why they do love me, because I compete at a high level, and I'm going to do that every night. So that's all I can do is go out and be myself and compete and, try to go out and still win there.
Russ, you had a lot of time to think about the dunk where you ended up getting the technical on that. Was that just something going through your mind as you're going toward the rim? Just kind of was that maybe the happiest you've ever been to get a technical in your career?
No, you know what? I thought about when I was about to get off the rim backwards, then I just said, nah, fuck, I'm going to just stay up here and try to break the rim. And then the tech came and, intensity, just the emotions and everything. And just for me, the fans here are great, give me a lot of energy, feed off of them. So the moment, just a lot, I think, just for all of us and for the fans, and a sign of relief, that we kind of had the game in hand.
Russ, I was going to kind of ask about that, and there are other moments throughout the season, throughout the game, throughout your career like that, even when you steal the outlet pass and set up AG on the dunk. It looks like you're almost having an out-of-body experience. Can you, describe, are you thinking, or what are you feeling in those moments?
I think a lot, as much as people may not think. I'm very smart, and I understand the game. I understand what's going on. So I am thinking. And I also, just a force, man. I think it's, my ability to be able to be a force in nature on the floor is what I pride myself on. So whatever that looks like, it may be a turnover, it may be a missed shot, but it may be a steal, maybe a dunk, maybe a missed three, maybe a made three. It's gonna be all of that. It's gonna be everything. So you just take it for how it comes, and whatever happens, you go with it. And I've always been like that. As long as I leave it on the floor, and God willing, to be able to go out and continue to compete, I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, Russ, over the course of this series, it felt like this team just got better. Your team got better. How do you feel like they got better, and what do you feel like your role was in that, and the Nuggets just being better against the Clippers specifically?
Yeah, I think during the series, you got to make adjustments and figure out ways to be able to. Every game is different. It's not like regular season, but every single game is a different. Different guys may step up. Your role may change. You may play more. You may play less. And understanding what those adjustments were, I thought we did a good job as a team, as a unit, understanding what they were, how we want to execute it, and we responded every game. So I'm happy that our group did that, and now we can move on to the next series.
Thank you, Rose.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks,
Christian, I know the job's not over, but your teammates told us no one took the Game 7 loss harder than you last year. How do you feel right now on the other side of one?
That's exactly what we wanted, It's the exact moment I wanted. I felt like, last year, obviously the team had a missed opportunity that I felt like we should have won. Obviously, they were the better team that night, but I just felt like there was opportunity left on the table, and I feel like I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to be more, and everybody wants to play more, but I just thought that, in that game, I felt like I was playing well and wanted to play more minutes, and everybody wants that. Everybody, in the league wants that, and I got that. It's exactly what I wanted, and those guys trusted me, and they have all year. But they trusted me in that moment, so this is the exact moment I was looking for, and I'm just glad. I'm just glad that it went our way.
Christian, you spent a lot of time covering Harden over the course of the season. I can't imagine it gets easier, but what do you feel like you learned over the course of the series in terms of making it as difficult as you can?
Yeah, he's great. He's one of the best scorers I feel like to ever play the game. There's no easy way to guard him. But I think the guys behind me did a great job of showing him bodies, getting out to guys flying around. So I couldn't pressure him how I wanted to pressure him and pick him up all game if I didn't have guys behind me that were flying around. So I think the credit goes to those guys. And Yoke was great at the rim. All series, his levels were great with how many screens they set for him. Mike was flying around. Everybody behind me allowed me to guard him. How I wanted to guard him. But I think maybe the biggest part was Russ. He's played against James. He's played with James, so kind of knows his game. And he was telling me, what looks to give him, when to give him this look, when to do this, when to force him right. When he's going right, this is what he's doing. And I learned that over the course of the series. I think I got better and better as we went. And then the guys trusted me, and the coaches trusted me tonight. We didn't want to switch, and they kept me on them all night. So the credit goes to those guys and the coaches, for trusting me.
Christian, I would describe your three-point shooting in this game as extremely confident. How vindicating does it feel to continue to put in the work as you have over the course of several years and to make them in a very big moment?
That's just just trusting. I think trusting the work is probably the biggest part, but that's what I do. That's that's who I am. I need to hit open shots. Didn't do it early in the series, and knew that I needed to put the work in and be ready to hit those shots. And doesn't have to be 5 or 6 of them. It just needs to be the ones that I need to take, shoot the open ones, and pass it when I'm not. And I think I've kept that pretty consistent since I got here. The guys found me tonight, and I just trusted the work. And like I said, that's kind of who I've been all year. I feel like I've always been a good percentage shooter, and the averages we're going to get back closer to where they should be. Like I said, I didn't shoot it well early, but I'm just got to continue to trust my work and continue to shoot the ones when I'm open.
Christian, obviously we don't know the results yet, but the vote's already in for MVP. It's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Nikola are 2 of the top 3 finishers playing in the next round. The award's likely to be announced at some point in the second round. Where did you come down on this MVP race, and how do you think that debate went?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I come down. I think that Nikola had maybe the greatest season ever. I mean, it's pretty simple to watch. I don't know if you'll ever see a player do what he did ever again. In one singular regular season, and they were both great. I think obviously the Thunder are an amazing team. Shea's an amazing player, so I don't think there's any wrong choice. But to see what Nikola did night in and night out, I don't know that you'll ever see that again. Hits big, hit big shots, takes threes, scores every time in the paint. He was great again tonight defensively. Like, people don't realize how good he is for us defensively when his levels and he's moving his feet and doing those things. I just think that the way he played this year, you might not ever see a complete full season like Nikola had this year.
He said, when I asked him about it, it's the furthest thing from either of their minds right now. Obviously, you're in the playoffs, you just won a Game 7. But do you think it matters to him, the results here?
No, I know it doesn't. Yeah, I know for a fact it doesn't. He shows up and does his work and plays his game no matter what. It doesn't matter what game. He's going to approach this Game 7 the same way he approached Game 23 of the regular season. It's just, that's who he is. He's consistent. His work ethic, his approach, his routine is the same exact every single game. Doesn't matter if it's a big Game 7 or it's a whatever game in the regular season. That's just who he is. He's consistent. He's not worried about the individual stuff. He wants to win. And he wants to win at a high level. And I think you saw tonight. Maybe he didn't score the most points, but he was really excited with how we played as a team, and he's communicating a ton in the huddle. So I don't think that the award means as much to him as winning does.
Christian, just to follow up on what you said about Russ kind of helping you prep for James, what exactly does that look like? Is it notes in a team film session? Is he pulling you to the side afterward, or is there stuff in game before the series? What is kind of that process?
It's all the time. It's whenever he sees it. Game 6, he hits a step back on me, and Russ told me show him different looks and show him this and show him that. Maybe I fouled him. He'll come over to me. It doesn't matter if it's in the walkthrough, if we're watching film and he sees something, if it's on the court. The game he was hurt, we talked a lot. It's just, he's played against him. He knows all these guys. He knows a lot of the Clippers sets better, more than anybody. And he just did a really good job of, and it's different because, we're throwing different things at him and, show him this when we're in this coverage and just different things. Obviously, his knowledge is off the charts, and you see his defensive impact himself. Today he was flying around. I think he had 5 steals, and he was great defensively. So not only I think did he help me, but he was great himself on defense, and that's just kind of who he is, the energy he brings, and it's fun to learn from him. And it's pretty crazy. Like, when I did listen to what he was saying, a lot of the things that he was saying did happen, and I look at him and go, okay, yeah, that's what it looks like. And so he was great, helped me out.
Just wanted to get your initial thoughts on the OKC Thunder. They're a team that won 68 games. You guys split with them this year. Just what are you thinking about them in this series?
I mean, they're great. They're a great team. They're top to bottom. They got guys that can shoot it. They got guys that can create. They got 2 really, really good big guys. Their bench is deep. They guard. Shea's tough. I mean, they have a lot of different things they can throw at you. Like you said, we split, during the regular season, but that doesn't mean anything, We're going to show them different things. They're going to show us different things. They're really well coached. They're disciplined. They're just a really good team, top to bottom. That's who they are. That's who they've been. They've been consistent. They're hungry. They want to win. So they're a great team, but we're a great team. I know that we're going to be prepared. We don't have a lot of days to get ready, but I know we will be ready. We'll think about them tomorrow when we get there.
Thank you, Christian.
Yep.
Appreciate it. energy defensively. Shot making doesn't come every night. We kind of had that too from a lot of different people. Very underrated thing. The end of Game 6, Christian made a couple threes late, and you lose that game. And you say, those weren't big shots, but for him they were. And you saw the rhythm was better. 8 for 15, 3 for 5 from 3. Just complete team win. Aaron Gordon, 9 for 16, playing through contact in the paint. Russ, obviously the energy he brought. Peyton Watson, DeAndre Jordan. I mean, everybody brought something. And when you do that, you know that your two best players eventually are going to get going after a tough start. And they did. And Jamal's shot making there to kind of keep the lead where it was at, obviously, withstood any kind of run they were going to make. So really proud of the guys. Crazy series. Fun to win it.
Yeah, could you just elaborate on that? Because as close as this was going the full game, 7 games, how rewarding, how good does it feel to come out with the 4th win?
I mean, it feels good, but I also know that we're flying to OKC tomorrow. This was not the championship, so I'm sure it kind of felt like it to fans, on both sides because the series was so insane and the ups and downs were so crazy. It's one of those series you won't forget that you were a part of. But yeah, and I thought, we junked it up a little bit, and you can say, oh, yeah, you junked it up, and that's why it worked. Anytime you junk something up, the activity with junking it up is what works. And when we zoned, cross-matched, all those things, I thought our activity with our hands, the way we covered for each other, which we talked about before the game, was just incredible throughout the night up until the last 6 minutes. So just an awesome win. I said this before the playoff series. The last 3 games we won in the regular season, to give ourselves a chance to be in this building for this kind of game is a huge deal. And we've won a lot of big games here, and we've had some heartache here. We've been through a lot here. There's a lot of experience in that room, so just very proud of the overall team effort.
David, what stood out about what Christian was able to do on the defensive end against Harden, holding him to 7 points on 8 shots?
Yeah, he did what he's been doing. I thought we did a better job of impacting him with another defender, but then getting that defender out. They did a great job, like they always do, of adjusting. And in Game 6, we were putting 2 on the ball a lot, and they were rolling behind it, and Jones and Dunn were being aggressive, which they were not doing before that. And so they were getting paint points. They were creating offense. And so we tried to be a little more conservative once he crossed half court in coverage, but then it was on Christian to get through screens and get back in front of him, to maintain our defense. And then behind that, there's a man covering for a man, and we did a great job of that. And I thought there was a carryover from the 4th quarter of Game 6. We made that run. Much more aggressive to stunt at people, shrink behind the stunts, just help each other out down the line and kick people back to their responsibilities. That went a long way. Like I said, also with just the overall just crazy activity that we had. Really fun to watch.
David, the series was obviously really close. I mean,
Yeah.
so there was a lot, even 27 points. We weren't really sure that it was over, right?
Yeah.
But did you sense a belief with your team the whole time that they had this in them, that they would come out ahead? I mean, even after a Game 6 where LA had obviously a great game there, and you had to rebound for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of humble confidence in there. Like you have to go into these games with great respect for who's across the hall here, what those guys are capable of doing. But you also can't go into the game not thinking that, we can get this done. We've done this. Like, we've seen this. We've been through this before, and we've succeeded. You have to have crazy amount of confidence, but with respect to professionalism, what this is in a Game 7 against a veteran team and a veteran coaching staff. I feel blessed to get out of this thing. Like I said, this is a memorable series. We just don't really have time right now to remember it. Enjoy tonight. Have a glass of red wine or whatever you like doing, but we fly to OKC tomorrow.
Coach, the non-Jokic minutes have been a topic of conversation surrounding this team for years now, and one of the biggest games for this core 4, what does it say about this group that everybody was able to elevate their game surrounding Nikola?
I thought it reminded me of the year we won it. I thought our rotation in the playoffs, not the regular season that year, held water the whole time and made impact plays defensively. Some of Jamal's shot making tonight through contact and AG, what he did attacking the basket, it allowed us to sit Nikola longer. And then we actually, won those stanzas. And if you do that and now you're bringing 15 back in. It's an enormous deal, and it also forced them to, to early rotate their guys. And now their guys are being pressed against minutes like we have throughout the series. So, yeah, there's so many factors to that. Saving timeouts if they have to call them and I don't. There's all these little things, these variables that really matter that add up to winning a game like this. So, yeah, really cool to see everybody step up. They got real minutes, and we're going to need that obviously going to the next round.
Coach, I mean, you've alluded to this multiple times today about the next round. What is it about Oklahoma City, just at first glance that makes them so good? And, what can you draw from that March mini-series that you guys had in OKC that you guys split with the Thunder there?
Yeah, that was interesting. It is kind of a setup for a playoff series. It did feel like that. We had to adjust from one day to the next. The second game was very different than the first. I'll say this about them. They're the best team in the NBA throughout this season. And I had a really good friend the other day make me feel awful. I said, yeah, if we win this series, man, we got to play a team that's 68-14. And he said, no, man, they're 72-14. I was like, okay, that's right. Appreciate that, bro. So, yeah, we know what this is. Like, their defense is so impactful. They turn you over. They have great one-on-one players in depth. Very good coaching staff that sets them up for, to be the aggressive team they are on both ends. But, you got to be confident going into it. I know they've had the rest. We will be smart about it, do the best we can to keep guys off their feet. But right now, tonight, this is about the success of what this was. And this was not easy. And it took everything from everybody that played. And like I said, I don't want to overdo this. I give them so much credit. I knew coming into this, it felt like 7. And it deserved to be 7. That's what this series was. That's what it turned out to be. So just feel very blessed to come out, the victor.
DA, Michael Malone used to get mad at me when I'd ask about leaving the starters in when the other team looked like they weren't. Did you think about pulling CB and Russ maybe a little, or even Jamal because of when they pulled their guys? And then did Joker go back in because of his back more than anything else because of how long he sat?
No, they came back in because they went on a run. And it's game 7, and I'm not putting them back in, and all of a sudden it's a 9-point game with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. He came in, he made a jump shot, he put it back over 20. I have to agree with Coach on that. These games, they're very important, and you better win the game. So when you have a lead like that and it goes 8-0 or 10-2 just like that, and it was happening fast, we felt like we had to, rebalance ourselves. And then once the clock ran to this certain point where there's only so many possessions, math takes over in your head instead of the craziness of coaching, and you get guys out.
Coach, did you have any indicators that the guys were locked in before the game? Anything in particular specific?
Yes, they were locked in, as they should be. If you're not locked in for Game 7, you shouldn't be doing this. The walkthrough, the film session, there was obviously there's always a buy-in in the playoffs, but there was some extra conversation to the details of each thing. Like I said, it's not just about what's happening on the ball. It's about all the details behind it. And I thought everybody was on a string tonight, connected on both ends of the floor. And offensively, just seeing the guys shoot the ball confidently when you're open. You got to do that if you're going to win these big games. And like I said, a bunch of guys stepped up. So, just really proud of the group.
David, you mentioned Joker and Jamal got off to a relatively slow start.
Yes.
But more than just shot making in this game, obviously went into this win. How'd you evaluate their commitment to the game plan, their effort in a Game 7 outside of that shot making?
Yeah, I thought Nicola's defensive energy early he was everywhere. And his hands, he was playing, the cat and mouse, the Zubats rolling in the zone. He was all over the place, kind of an amoeba down there, taking the roller, trapping the corner. He had great activity with his feet, especially after playing, just the other day. And then Jamal, I thought we did a better job of cleaning up, some of the pressure he dealt with. And you have to remember, Game 6 just happened, and both teams are pressing each other the whole game. There was a lot of tired people out there. And fortunately for us, I thought we had a little bit more juice than they did, and that probably went a long way in why we won the game.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, guys.